speaking of new eras, Dan.
Yeah.
The Mel Tucker era in
Yeah.
East Lansing started with rave reviews.
Sure.
Rave reviews. And now the conversation going into 2022 is, can they take another step forward? Can Michigan State take another step forward? They were kind of a surprise team last year in many regards.
Uh-huh.
What, if anything, did we learn in our spring snapshot of Michigan State?
I mean, Peyton Thorne's the dude at quarterback, obviously. Jaden Reed's the guy at number one receiver. We'll see at running back. Jalen Berger comes in from Wisconsin. Jarek Broussard will come in from Colorado, who is the 2020 Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, and obviously goes back with Mel Tucker from his time at Colorado. Amir Speed comes in at cornerback to help shore things up.
Amir Speed? I love it.
Amir Speed, yes.
Perfect.
At corner,
Perfect.
a need for speed position, because Michigan State really did struggle in a lot of wide swaths of the season defending deep balls, and we saw it exploited crazily against Purdue and Aiden O'Connell, and like just Ohio State destroyed Michigan State through the air, and just that seems to be the one weakness, and they're trying to shore up things up front. They're bringing a Florida transfer on one of the edges. Like they are addressing things, and I think a big one is going to be replacing Kenneth Walker, although it's not a huge deal. You know, the offensive line, you weren't able to glean much from spring, as you're not for most of these schools, because they're either beat up and not going to risk anything with offensive linemen, or they're splitting them up. And so you get a lot of 2s and 3s sprinkled into the mix for split squad matchups. But no, the big thing is going to be getting more of a pass rush and being better deep against the pass. You know, there's still interesting quarterbacks in the Big Ten. And so Michigan State, you know, credit to Mel Tucker, he is not going to moralize about, is this what we want football to be? He has been a portal aggressor. And that to me is going to be fascinating as Michigan State tries to address its weaknesses, especially on defense, especially getting after the quarterback. And on offense, seeing who emerges behind Jaden Reed at receiver, because I think even if that secondary and even if the pass defense improves to, say, average, they're going to need to continue to score points, which I think they're going to do. But it's turning, I think at times they were reliant a little bit too much on generating that one explosive play to score points and figuring out a nicer balance between, you know, explosivity and efficiency on that offense. And as they stack the running back room, as they get deeper at offensive linemen, as they hit the portal to address some weaknesses, I think they're going to do it. I really do think they're going to do it, because I like the proactivity of Mel Tucker and his staff. So they're in a good place, and it's going... I'm still a little bit hesitant about putting Michigan State, despite what they won there, whatever bowl it was last year. Was it the Peach Bowl? What bowl did they end up in against Pitt? Where Pitt ended up with its, I think, third-string quarterback. But right. I'm a little bit hesitant just because Michigan State had a little bit of an element of smoke and mirrors to their wins, which, win your clunkers, winning is better than losing, not faulting them. But I want to see more sustained high-level play, I think, from Sparty, which I honestly anticipate.
I think what we saw last year was revelation.
Sure.
It was a revelation. And there were a lot of guys on that team. Kenneth Walker III, obviously, had a huge impact. He was the focal point of that offense. But there were plenty of moments where Peyton Thorne was huge.
Yeah.
Came up huge. To an extent that was unexpected. Peyton Thorne, I remember this time last year, we didn't know a lot about Michigan State. Not the least of which was, is Peyton Thorne going to be any good? We had no idea. Peyton Thorne threw 27 touchdowns last year. Had 10 picks. Was not always the cleanest quarterback out there, but still completed 60% of his passes. Yeah. If he can take a step forward, and if they can continue to have that running game, be it through Jalen Berger or anybody else, as something they can fall back on, this is not a team that is short on effort. I talked about culture earlier. These guys bought into Mel Tucker rather quickly, and they played hard from whistle to whistle. They were never out of a game. Just look at that Michigan game.
Yep.
So if they continue to play hard, that tends to favor you on the margins in a lot of cases.
The churn has been interesting. 18-ish players have left the program, which is almost to be expected when you have a new coach. Some guys are going to say, okay, I'll give him a year or two and see how I feel. So 18, I think, was the number I saw, but it's around that have left the program since I think late in the season last year. Another name to watch out for, and this is a big thing with defenses going from pretty decent to really interesting, is getting those the star power type guys. And Darius Snow is the name that emerged during the spring. A linebacker safety type hybrid, has experience at safety but was practicing with linebackers. And when you get those sorts of tweeners that allow you to do different things with the same personnel, especially with Mel Tucker's background, that's where it becomes a little bit interesting. So that's the name that a lot of people liked to have on their lips, the tips of their tongues this spring, Darius Snow.